Tribal, typal, kindred, all decks that are focused around one specific creature type, and even a cursory glance at cEDHrec.com gives you a surplus list of all these types of decks. Demons, angels, goblins, vampires, zombies, merfolk, Eldrazi, humans, and spirits? Spirits. That's really embarrassing, actually. I actually have a spirits deck. But not all decks are created equal, and some archetypes get way more support than others do. In fact, let's just take a cursory glance at cEDHrec.com to have a look at some numbers. Zombies have around 63,000 decks listed, elves with nearly 66,000 decks, and then 79,000. It's not even close. Yes, indeed, dragons are the absolute frontrunner in terms of kindred decks, and with the release of Tarkir Dragonstorm, I figured it'd be time to look at this type of deck and ask this question of, are dragons just the best? As always, if you like any cards you see here in this video today and plan on making any scaled purchases yourselves, make sure to use our lovely affiliate links in the description box below. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but really helps the channel out quite a lot. And as always, all prices here today are provided by the fabulous sponsor of our channel, the amazing cardmarket.com. So let's start by looking at some of the popular commanders, popular strategies, and then some of the reasons why people play these types of decks. Now, the commanders for this deck tend to boil down to just 3, with some more coming out in Dragonstorm, but I can't see any of these guys really displacing the top 3. Tiamat, a 7-mana 7/7 that has a 5x tutor on ETB. Now, this is only if you cast it, so no flickering or reanimation nonsense, but it's still immensely advantageous just by casting this big girl. And with the release of the new Dragon Rooftop Storm, their price has consequently shot up massively, because this is now essentially a 2-card combo to pretty much win you the game on the spot. But even she isn't enough for second place, which is Miirym the Sentinel Worm, that just flat out copies dragons when they come in. And considering the game warping effect a lot of dragons have, making a free copy is absolutely busted. And then even getting rid of the legendary rule as well, to have copies of those ones, is just insane. We even did a video about Miirym when they came out, comparing them to the actual top spot front-running dragon commander. But the absolute top spot goes to, as a surprise to absolutely no one, the Dragon. A massive 9-mana commander that honestly doesn't even need to be cast for them to be an absolute gross powerhouse. Okay, and full disclosure, I do actually have my own Dragon deck, and as everyone at my LGS will attest, I love my Dragon deck. Yes, I do, baby. But the reason is kind of obvious, besides the fact they're 5 colours, so you get to play every dragon under the sun. That Eminence ability that allows you to pay 1 generic less for all dragons, and considering dragons' mana cost is roughly half a mortgage in terms of mana, dropping that 1 is very, very impactful. Imagine playing an elf deck, but you get to start with an Emerald Medallion in play. Even if it's just for creatures, that's still going to tilt the game heavily in your favour, as you get to cast more creatures for mana spent. Equally, turning a Goldspan Dragon, Terror of the Peaks or Rith into 4 drops is a massive deal for getting out an active ramp engine, damage dealer, or piece of protection, and token generator, while some people have only just resolved their Kodama's Reach. Ages and ages ago, the Command Zone put out a little bit of an analytical video, and one of the conclusions they came to has always really stuck with me. And that was, and I'm kind of paraphrasing here, the person that wins the game tends to be the one who has spent the most mana. And the Dragon kind of perfectly shows that, because by being able to get out 2 4-drops for 6 mana, you're essentially cheating that little mana negotiation that goes on between powerful spell versus mana cost. And as I said, with the Dragon and Tiamat being both 5 colours, you get to play every dragon possible. And Miirym being Teamer, well, the dragons you want to play for black and white aren't really the ones that are going to be splashing out to win you the game, apart from maybe a few examples. Especially considering Miirym has double Terror of the Peaks on offer, a few people can hardly say no. Now moving on to actually winning the game, because one of these things that the Dragons has above pretty much every other of their kindred is that, apart from spirits, they can all fly. So being able to rather smash into your opponents right from the get-go and not have to worry about pesky blockers is a good way to put pressure on right from the get-go. There are also a few combos like the ones involving Old Gnawbone to make 7 treasures to keep activating Hellkite charged abilities to get additional combat steps to kill the table. But these do cost 7 and 6 mana each. Oh, sorry, it's 6 and 5 mana. Not exactly Thoracle mana we're talking here. But the real power and strength of the deck comes from the absurd amount of support cards Dragons have, and other decks simply just don't have a version of. Dragon Tempest for haste and damage dealing, a one-sided board wipe in Crux of Fate, Artifact Ramp in Orb of Dragonkind, and the new Mox. Their own cost reducers in Goblin Helpers, and their own land in Haven of the Spirit Dragon. But the real advantage is the consistency of new cards. Nearly every set there's going to be a dragon or two that are never really dead cards, let alone the sets that are pretty reliably helping dragons. The D&D set is a great example of this. It just straight up bolstered the dragon decks, and that's all without beginning to talk about the new Tarkir set. Dragon support, the Mox that I talked about, a Rooftop Storm for dragons, a literal enchantment win con for a dragon deck. And honestly, all these new cards means I'm going to have to sit down and sacrifice a lot of time to fit these into my dragon deck and think about what to swap out. A sacrifice I am willing to make. And honestly, at this point, I just feel like I'm rehashing points from my Eldrazi video. They were already a good deck, a good Kindred supported deck, but then got a bolster from a modern set of all places. And now, yes, whilst the Dragon deck is getting more support from admittedly a Dragon set, they've still been getting continuous support for the entire time, and there's a difference between supported and being overloaded. So we've established the fact that dragons have incredibly powerful commanders, powerful cards, and get more support than a sketchy political candidate when it's election season. But just being powerful isn't enough of a reason to actually play a deck. If it was, everyone would be playing cEDH by now. So I took to various places like X and Reddit to find out reasons why people are actually playing the deck, and what reasons are there that drew them to these big scaly boys. And honestly, the answers I got back were kind of wholesome. They are the quintessential fantasy creature. Yes, as it turns out, nerds love dragons. Who knew? D&D being the closest comparison here, but come on, dragons is in the name of the damn thing. They're large-scaled, hard to kill and give breaths of fire. The fact that every culture on the planet has some sort of dragon in their mythology does kind of show we're inbuilt to be interested in large, scaly, dangerous reptiles. Just look at the Godzilla franchise. Others say they just enjoy the big splashy effect, and it's true, since dragons tend to cost more mana than other creature types, they usually have some amazing effects on them to justify that massive mana cost. Brainstorm Dragon is a +3 card advantage every turn. Balefire Dragon is essentially a single player board wipe every turn, and even the new Unari Song Unending in the right deck is going to kill several creatures, can be flickered to do it repeatedly. Oh, and it's also a 10/10 flyer with protection from most removal spells. And lastly, and honestly this is kind of my favourite one, it's called EDH. For anyone that doesn't know, EDH does stand for Elder Dragon Highlander, a callback to the format's early days where you had to have a dragon legend as your commander, not just any legendary creature. And whilst I personally do absolutely not want to go back to that, I like that some people feel a genuine affinity for the older days of Magic and want to sort of keep that within their decks of playing it as a dragon commander, because that's EDH. It's kind of sweet, really. Now, wrapping all this up, let's get back to the actual thesis statement. Are dragons the best? In terms of decks made, yeah. Now no, they're never going to top any cEDH tournament, but in terms of powerful creatures, powerful legends, yeah, they don't really have anyone competing near them. Elves and zombies are the next two highest up, and even then they might have more combo potential, but they still get blown out by one massive boy. In terms of the actual legends that can lead a solid Dragon Kindred deck, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say no. They've honestly got 3 legends that I've ever seen come up more than once a year. Hopefully Dragonstorm will change that, as we do have a few cards that care about being a dragon legend that leads a commander deck, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to hold my breath. But it is the absolute bonkers level of continued support for this archetype that will always give it an edge. So for my actual question, yeah, dragons are the best. And in a kind of a really nice, sweet way, Commander is still very much Elder Dragon Highlander. Just as long as know the creature type gets its own mocks and, combo enabling enchantment, like elves. Little pointy buggers might start having ideas, like, having their best commander be an actual sodding elf. And that will be the end of the video today, guys. What are your favourite dragon legends? Pop them in the comments below. As always, all Affinity for Commander content is made possible thanks to all of our amazing patrons. You guys are truly awesome. If you do like to become a patron and try yourself and get access to exclusive EDH related rewards, then be sure to check out our link in the description box below. You can also support the channel a few of the quick and easy ways: liking this video, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, and commenting below. But that'll be it from me for now, guys. As always, I've been Alex, and I'll see you next time.